Hello and welcome to the Pens and Pixels Popcast. I'm your host, Cal G. And to my left is the coordinator extraordinaire,
Mike Kent.
The Popcast is the place you come to if you want to hear about the art and news of video games, comics, and movies that week.
Woohoo! And that's us, the PPP, or the sound of us slowly just depreciating into nothing.
Commit tax fraud and fuck a horse.
What do you punch a donkey and marry a raccoon?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Hire a cat, fuck a shark.
Or is donkey punch actually a thing?
Donkey punching is actually a thing.
No. It works on two levels.
Well, this is already off to a great start this week.
I like these starts.
Okay, so this week we're going down the Newsy news as per usual. There's like fucking 8 stories, guys, so
Yeah.
get ready.
Pretty dead week.
Really dead week.
Even the news outlets are basically them just sitting there shuffling their papers and clearing their throats.
Yeah.
I think everyone's probably pretty concerned with the hurricane stuff going on. That's probably why no one's talking all that much.
Yeah, and I know for a lot of, in the games industry, like alone, people are just playing Destiny 2 at this point, so they're just taking off with that and not decided to cover nothing, so.
Yeah, pretty much.
Who fucking knows? Who fucking knows?
Except for, what's that other game? There's a joke meme of it, like someone's like walking away with Destiny 2 and looking at another game. What was it? You posted it.
Did I?
Yeah.
No.
I don't know.
Oh, Knack 2?
Knack 2, yeah.
Yeah, everyone's all about Knack 2.
Yep.
Fucking Christ. Alright, is there any housekeeping, Mike?
Yeah, a little bit. Just
No
be
segues.
sure. Oh, no segues.
No segues.
Just be sure to join us next week, Thursday, 7 o'clock, Blurry Pixel if you're in Ottawa, for the monthly drink and draw. And also, we will be releasing the list of speakers and sponsors and all that jazz for Canadian Game Expo after the Montreal chapter finishes their, I think it's in a month. And be sure to keep your eye out. I've actually got a pretty solid list of pretty awesome people. I'm really excited that they all just said yes. So look forward to that coming up very soon. I know I've been saying that every week. It's just been a lot of work.
You're going to hear it every week until next June.
No, I promise you, a couple of months, just got to get this all hammered out. But when you get the list, any of you artists out there who are interested in meeting some pretty amazing artists and learning from them, keep an eye on CGX. It's going to be pretty awesome this year.
That's the Capital Games Expo.
Yeah. And we're Pens and Pixels, just so you don't get confused.
Fascinating. Is that all?
That's all.
Ah, fantastic. Let's jump right into the Newsy news. This is a real long theme, I realized, this Newsy news one.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I like it better.
No, it is. It's far better. It's just that we need to do this kind of banter
Oh.
a little bit, so it kind of die out
Yeah.
with the intensity of the volume. I think we're probably good now.
I think we're good.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
We already talked about it for about an hour in our latest review, which should be up now for you.
Mm-hmm.
Mike and I saw, we loved it. Apparently people are just fucking eating it up. It scares up a record 51 million on Friday for
1 million plus bow.
yeah, that doesn't make sense. It means it's like predicting to be $100 million this weekend.
Oh, but
like,
for it bows out on the weekend. Yeah.
So there's nothing clownish about it, which grossed a massive 51 million on Friday from 4,103 theaters for a weekend debut north of 100 million. New Line and Warner Brothers film adaptation of Stephen King's novel is jolting the domestic box office back to life after 7 straight down weekends, resulting in the worst summer in recent memory, as attendance fell to a 25-year low. It is shattering numerous records, including landing the biggest start ever for a horror film, not accounting for inflation, and it's the biggest opening ever for the month of September. That's fucking crazy.
I'm not like, that's fucking crazy, of course, like, hooray, and also, like, wow, but I'm less surprised just because it is such a classic following. I always think about this in demographics, because, like, and it's funny, I almost translate this to currently all the anime movies fucking up horribly, is, like, no one knows how to fucking do them correctly. They're all fucking up. Ghost in the Shell, Death Note, all of those, like, they're just awful pieces of shit. But it's because the people who are watching them who are creating them are not of the generation who grew up with anime. They're in the generation where it was like, I don't know if anime's done that, Japanime, blah blah, right?
Japanimation.
Yeah. So they don't have the love affair with it. Like, we were big nerds when we were kids. Of course, we watched it. But now the new generation, lots of people fucking watch anime, and it's not a big deal at all. So like that generation has to come in and be in charge to make anime movies great. Now with it, you're talking about directors right now who are probably in their 40s who grew up with it since the book, since the miniseries, since just the obsession with it ever since. These people are doing it justice. That's Stranger Things. That's this, right? We're at the age where the 80s children are coming alive and being able to showcase their
Well, I'm
memories.
surprised. Like, it hasn't been, like, I mean, it hasn't been predominant. Like, I mean, the miniseries aired in 1990. The book was written in, like, 87 or 88. And, like, since then, there's been no new It media. But he's just remained a horror icon on the level of, like, Jason and Freddy and Michael Myers, you know?
But he had that kind of impact, right? Like,
Totally,
the first
no,
time you saw it, you were like, fuck, the clown, done.
We just
totally.
weren't inundated with sequels or like anything with him, you know, at all. It was just like, here's a 1990 miniseries, and that just has resonated for like 27 years plus.
Plus, it's an actual like fucking mental disorder. The clown, being afraid of clowns, is a literally documented mental disorder. Actually, a really great video is out there. Is one done by Dorkly they just did on why clowns are scary, and the literal answer is that clowns were always supposed to be scary. They are actually scary. Like, they were never actually meant to be goofy and fun.
Oh,
yeah. So.
Well,
that's the answer. Like, why are clowns scary? Because they were always meant to be.
Well, I don't think that's the reason. I mean, they put on like a happy face and everything. They don't want to look like Pennywise.
Yeah, but it's funny that whole thing is the painted on face is actually an oddity. It was created to be weird and kind of off-putting, because the idea of a still face on top of what's supposed to be a moving face is a contrast that's actually really jarring to your eye. So it was never meant to be funny. It was meant to be like, whoa, that's shocking. Not like, run away, but just like...
Yeah, it's like the Uncanny Valley thing.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you're
very,
separating.
Very surprising. I don't understand why.
The movie also nabbed the biggest Friday ever for an R-rated title, beating Deadpool's $47 million, which is fucking crazy, and Deadpool went on to open to $132 million. And that's about it. Yeah, fantastic. It deserves all the money it's getting, and I'm happy. I hope this sets precedent going forward that, like, if you take care with a horror movie and, like, really make a good one, like, you get this kind of response. You know what I mean?
I hope it sets up a precedent. I mean, it looks like Mother is actually another one that's coming up that might be somewhat more refined of a horror film. At least it's looking that way.
I mean, it does, but like that's coming from a good director. Like, that's the thing. Like, I mean, like next time they go to try to reboot Nightmare on Elm Street, maybe they'll treat it with some care, and it won't be a fucking shit show.
Maybe they'll give it more budget, and they'll give it some more talent that'll actually be able to bring it in that direction. Hopefully, that's what they lean into trying to do. I mean, R-rated is everyone's big thing right now. It's funny, when we were kids, R-rated was the big thing, and then it didn't matter anymore. No one even put it on a movie.
I don't really pay, I mean, now that you're the age, I just don't pay attention to what things are.
I love that the guy at the theater picked you out and was like, you're not going to be old enough.
Yeah. Sir, I am like 9 years older than the age of this thing I need to be in this movie, so well, that's fine.
One thing I'm kind of interested about, though, is the Stranger Things cast, other than Winona Ryder, they're all B-list who never been seen before with the kids, right? Yeah. Now, the kid in this, talented young man. I hope he turns into an incredible actor as he continues on.
Yep.
But Stranger Things, this movie, huge monster, fuck ton money.
Yep.
What happens if he gets so popular he doesn't want to come back and do Stranger Things anymore? Do you think that would be a scenario? Just as a plausible possibility?
No, because I guarantee after season 1 was so big, they signed contracts for up to season 4 or 5, which is how long they said they want to go, right? Yeah. So they're like, no, we got you guys, and we're going to film this as fast as we can so you don't age too much, little fuckers, and then, set you free. I
have no clue how that kid had anything. Like, so he just filmed it, and he's been like he left Stranger Things, filmed it, and now filmed Stranger Things.
Yeah, right? He's had a busy year.
Yeah, like those big bags under his eyes aren't makeup.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Stranger Things.
There's just like a mother and father with a whip behind him.
Act, Finn Wolfhard. We didn't give you that name for nothing. That's his name, Finn Wolfhard. Fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, next up, some DC news. The Joker movie. Maybe Leonardo DiCaprio for Joker.
This was a big hit thing. God, it was, the moment this went up, like, even on our social media, people were just like, what? And commenting. We actually had a conversation.
That's the thing. On our Facebook page, facebook.com/pens and pixels podcast, we post the news and generally the stuff we pull from for the podcast for the next week. And generally, you get 1 or 2 comments, maybe a couple likes, whatever. But, like, this one was actually, like, it was, like, 500 people reached and, like, a bunch of comments on it, people actually discussing it. I was like, people fucking care who the Joker is.
And also, I think Leonardo DiCaprio, everyone's like, oh, Leo can totally do it. And I guess that's the question, right? Like, do you think fucking, Titanic Boy can do it?
What a thing to draw from with all the stuff he's done since.
I know. I never see past the little child one, like, Beach's fucking Leonardo DiCaprio. Or Beach. The Beach? You know this stupid one where they do drugs and on the island and...
Is it called The Island?
Is it The Island?
I think it's The Island.
It's The Island?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. It's one fucking word. It was a dumb movie. It was like everyone's fucking VHS. They had it every single cottage you rented.
I first saw Leonardo DiCaprio in his first film ever, Critters 3. Fantastic.
Oh, I thought it was Fried Green Tomatoes.
I don't know. Is he young in that too?
Yeah.
Is he super young? Yeah.
He's like a kid.
That might have been before. I don't know. Critters is like 93.
Is he like a teen-ish in Critters?
He's got to be like 11, 12.
It's about the same age.
Yeah.
So it's around the same time. One of the two is one of his first movies.
All right, so by bringing on Martin Scorsese as a producer, the studio hopes to use the legendary filmmaker to lure his longtime collaborator into the world of comic book franchises.
Now, this is the...
I love the way that's written. There's like, they bring on Martin Scorsese, like, dangle the candy, Martin.
Dangle the candy. But there's no one focusing on the fact that they got fucking Martin Scorsese, the, like, #1, like, auteur of film to do the Joker movie. Well,
we talked about that last week, right? We talked about the two Joker movies. We talked about getting him. He's a producer, not a writer, not a director, nothing.
No.
And producer can range from like people who are actively involved to like someone who saw the movie once by accident and they like liked it, so they distributed it. You know, like that's it.
Or they showed up on set and they're just like, "Hey, Joe! Oh my God, Martin Scorsese's here. Producer credit."
Yeah, like it's
like what? No.
I always remember. Quentin Tarantino. It was like he like produced Hostel. He had nothing to do with Hostel. He just saw it and was like, "Oh, I'm going to put my name on this for you, so it gets some attention." Yeah. Which is like, who knows how involved Martin Scorsese is? But if they said they were drawing on his old films, right, like Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, and all that stuff. So maybe he actually will be in there, get some hands on, and start massaging the script or something. That's what you would hope.
If he's executive producer, I believe that.
But what do you think about Leonardo DiCaprio as Joker?
Because I was going to say, if you ask me what my opinion of Leonardo DiCaprio is, that's not the right question, because that's not going to go anywhere good.
You don't like Leo?
No.
I
fucking hate Leonardo DiCaprio.
No, why?
Yeah.
I like him fine.
He's one of my most hated actors. No. I'm not making this up.
Okay, now I'm just kidding. What are your most hated actors? Who are the bottom 3? I don't even know the 50-person list.
Steven Seagal. Listen to last week's episode to get that joke.
Yep.
No, but number one most hated is Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jesus. Why? Do you not like his acting, or you don't like him as a person?
Oh no, I don't like his acting.
You don't like his acting? Oh, okay,
No.
Okay. You're like attacking the thing that he's good at. Okay,
yeah.
So what?
He's good at. There's a disagreement.
Okay, so what did you see him in that you were like, nope, not buying that?
First time that I really, really hated him actually was in Titanic. That was like my big moment of hating him. I didn't even realize I had seen him before in like Fried Green Tomatoes and stuff like that.
Yeah, sure.
Really didn't really care. But it was just so jittery, and like everything ran on his fucking eyes. Like it was like if he couldn't do a scene, he'd like widen his eyes every fucking time. You know, like I need to show that I'm surprised. And I'm like fucking little whiny twiggy little thing. And then I got out of the movies, and I'm just like fucking hate that guy so much. Nothing about him was enticing. It was just like this weird character that they just tossed in, and it was supposed to be a main character, and I didn't connect with anything he was doing. I don't know what the fuck it is that like makes me repel against him so hard that everyone else loves him for. And then everyone else is like, he's so hot, he's so like so cool, and I'm like, he's hideous. Like, okay, so there's nothing physically attractive about him. Why is everyone considering him a sex symbol? That can't be a sex symbol.
Welcome to the DiCaprio cast. Okay, so I remember I was in grade 3. I remember this very well. My teacher, Mr. Abbott, at the time, he was like going over like the day's agenda.
DiCaprio-cast.
The DiCaprio-cast. The DiCaprio-cast trio. So my 3rd grade teacher's like going over the agenda for the day or whatever, like going through something, and he's shuffling his papers, just looking. He's this like bald guy with a huge beard, like wearing a suit, and he's like, looks up. If any girls care, it's Leonardo DiCaprio's birthday today. And like I remember a bunch of girls like scrunching up their faces and looking at each other, and then he's like, no, okay. And just goes back to shuffling his papers. It's a very vivid memory in my head because, like, at the time, I was like, who the fuck is that? Yeah. And, like, because, I mean, I had no knowledge of, like, Titanic at that point. I wasn't watching that movie. So it's just, I'll always remember that moment.
Oh, God.
Okay, so you would not want him as the Joker.
Yeah, no, I don't want him as a Joker. That's for sure, because I just don't like him. But the question about whether or not he can do good at it, because I'll give Leonardo DiCaprio a couple of things, is that he can do good in particular roles, and I have had movies where I didn't hate him.
Shutter Island?
Yeah, no.
Shutter Island's great.
No,
oh my god.
no.
Okay.
But I actually enjoyed The Revenant. I actually enjoyed him in The Revenant, considering the movie focused in on him, but he didn't talk a lot, so that helped.
Just a lot of grunting.
But it was like all again based on his fucking facial expressions, which is the only thing he's really good at. So I was like, all right, great, you worked on the only thing he's good with. And the thing is the fucking one where you go into dreams there.
Inception.
Inception is an excellent film. It's hard to not acknowledge that film altogether was great, and even his character was like just written so well. You can't make that person not endearing. So like I could see the potential talent that everyone's seeing in him being portrayed somewhere, but I just
you're talking about this like it's like a cloudy, like the talent somewhere. He has it in him, maybe. He has potential.
Yeah, and I don't know, because like again, like we've all said with the Joker, we're like, oh fuck, what? I keep forgetting his fucking name. Heath Ledger would never make a good Joker. There's not a chance in hell, right? And then he became the best Joker we've ever had to date. Would Leonardo DiCaprio pull out some performance that could floor me? I'm totally open to him doing that. I would hope that he would perform and do such a thing. So I'm not going to go back and say, no, he can't do it, because I watched someone else literally do a complete, never a chance in hell. I just saw The Knight's Tale, and you told me that guy's going to be the Joker? Like, and then with this, I'm in the same scenario where I'm like, fuck that guy, I don't like Leonardo DiCaprio, he's going to be the Joker. He could come back and make the next greatest Joker movie. Who knows? Yeah. Are you okay with it?
Yep, totally.
Oh.
I like Leo. I'm not like a devoted fan or anything.
No.
I'm not like I need to see every Leo movie, but like I like him. I generally like the films he's in. So
do you think he could play manic and crazy like that? Like,
yeah, I think he could.
Like convincingly, not just being like wacky.
No, I would be eager to see his take on it. Actually, I think. I mean, I'm more excited about him than I was about Jared Leto being cast. You know, like I'm only potentially more excited.
That like whenever DiCaprio does like crazy role, because he's done crazy roles, is that he always does crazy with angry, like an angry crazy, like he's a lot of I'm crazy, rah, right? And that's where I would be afraid he would take it. And I don't want that. Like there's anger there. Obviously.
I think it would be like a more especially if they're going after Taxi Driver or something. I think it would be like that kind of like subdued rage, but crazy.
Yeah, like
you know what I mean?
No, yeah, totally. Like I said, since he does all of his acting with his eyes, he could spend most of the movie just giving manic stares and pretty much pass it off that way.
You talking to me? All right. Next up, no more DC news. Usually we're flush with DC news, and like now, nothing.
A lot of DC hate.
Are you saying we hate on the DC EU?
No.
Are you saying we actively shit on them?
Yes.
Yeah. Next up, Drew Barrymore is producing a horror anthology series called Black Rose Anthology, and it's written and directed all by women.
Which is cool, because I think women are very, very underrepresented. I mean, as much as they're underrepresented in general in films.
In everything,
like,
yeah.
But they're really badly underrepresented in horror, right?
Horror especially. There's very few that I can even name off the top of my head. Like, I can't even name them. Excuse me. There are those girls that do Elevator. Yeah. They're directors. And there's another one.
There's another one. There's a female one that's done a big movie.
She did the Babadook, I think.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
She did the Babadook.
It's yeah, no, I think the female did the Babadook. Yes, she did, yeah. And that's it. I can't name her. You know, I'm inundated with horror stuff all the time.
Yeah, you know all the directors.
Yeah, so I can't. So this is a cool opportunity to let some women shine their horror flag.
I'd be interested to see where they change it up too, because in horror recently, and you and I have talked about this before, there's been more female main characters who are like the heroic survivors, but they still almost at the end of the day constantly play the victim still. Like even the one that I just saw recently that I liked a lot, that's like one of your favorites.
You're Next.
You're Next.
You're you're talking about the final girl trope, which is, I mean, as far as females go in horror, they're often. It's the final girl trope where it's always a woman at the end. It's usually a woman who's the final one out of a group of people, whether you're talking about Friday the 13th.
And whether or not she's spending the whole time running away or she's fighting back, because like in Your Next, like she fucking blenders someone's head. Yeah,
in Your Next, they kind of turned that on its head because she was so, like, I don't want to say overpowered, but she was fucking prepped.
Yeah, she was prepped
for the whole thing. Yeah. So,
which is cool, but I would be interested to see that take another entirely different turn as well, right? Not having like, even if it was final girl or it was a girl who was the main focus or whatever, just take it in a different direction that would be more masculine. Just instead of her just constantly being like this, like, I'm gonna survive.
I'm just interested to see if they have anything, not even with a woman protagonist necessarily, just
new.
Just a new idea. Like what?
I'm sure.
You know?
I'm sure they've got ideas that guys haven't come up with, because most of the time what guys are going to find scary is going to be like, oh, the monster comes and kills shit because we like stabbing.
I like stabbing. Yeah, so I'm really interested in this. My only worry is that it's on the CW. But like maybe, you know.
Yeah, who knows?
I like Riverdale. It's on CW.
Yeah.
Oh, who knows?
Well, I mean, like there's good horror TV sometimes. Like
Totally. I'm still having to catch up with Channel Zero, which I hear is really good.
Black Mirror is horror-ish.
Yeah, definitely got horror elements, if not one entire horror episode.
Yeah.
With the fucking allusion to Hideo Kojima.
Yeah.
Next up, speaking of Jared Leto, he went blind. For Blade Runner 2 gets compared to Jesus. Okay, director Denis Villeneuve recently spoke at the Wall Street Journal about Blade Runner 2049, and specifically Jared Leto's performance. Leto plays a character named Neander Wallace, who makes replicants and appears to be the movie's villain, so to speak. The character also happens to be blind, and Leto felt the need to wear contacts that actually blinded him to play the part. Here's what Villeneuve said. He's probably just didn't pour acid in his eyes.
Yeah. He just gave into like claw marks.
He could not see at all. He was walking with an assistant very slowly. It was like seeing Jesus walk into a temple.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Everyone became super silent, and there was kind of a sacred moment. Everyone was in awe. It was so beautiful and powerful. I was moved to tears. Are you fucked?
Didn't you feel that like you could not feed that beast anymore with that little fucking like, carrot?
I hate ads. Moving on.
Denise Villeneuve could not have fucking like fed that beast more than he could have right there at that point.
Yeah, he is playing this up.
Yeah, but I mean, this is this Jared Leto all over again, and his whole fucking deal where he's just like, well, you know, like throwing dead rats at people and use condoms and shit for Joker.
So I want to know, Mike, what do you think of method acting in general?
Well, it's fine. I mean, some people like getting into the whole method acting part of it. It's really interesting to watch them like, oh, I'm going to be doing a Vietnam movie. I'm going to go to Vietnam and see what the world's like there, and I'm going to go live in the jungle and shit. Yeah, totally. Right? But when you're going into the extremes, like I'm playing like a cyberneticist who has like robot eyes who's blind or some shit. Like, you know, going out there and being like, well, I better shove that shit in my eyes, or fucking, what is his name, and sticking himself into a fucking submarine. He's like, I'm going underwater for this movie. Better go live fucking
James
underwater.
Cameron.
Yeah. Like...
Well, James Cameron, I don't think he's method doing anything. I just think he's like, I just like this better.
Oh yeah, but I'm sure he's like, we should go take everyone under the sea, and then like that's the whole fucking thing.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, like he wants Sebastian to come out and sing Under the Sea to him.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Life is better down where it's wetter. Take it from Cameron.
What is it? How much air do they have down there? It's like you only have 80% helium to breathe down here.
Yeah.
You know, everything leaks. Food supply is limited, and the water's freezing cold. You know, enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, I always think of there was two famous actors that had a conversation. I don't fucking remember them. One of them's dead now. He died within the last year, and I forget his goddamn name. Dustin Hoffman. It was Dustin Hoffman talking to someone else, I think. Is Dustin Hoffman dead? I'm gonna sound like an idiot.
Yes, he is.
All right, cool.
Okay.
So they were talking, and like they said, they were talking about how like. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, I had a part where like I was.
No,
playing...
sorry, not Dustin Hoffman. Philip Seymour.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yes.
There we go. See,
so that's a totally okay mistake.
Yeah, they both had Hoffman, and it wasn't like Vin Diesel and Paul Walker. No.
Yeah, because Vin Diesel fucking method acts. He just shows up. And then says Groot or grunts as an Iron Giant.
No, hey, no. You know what? Vin Diesel did method act. He got stilts to play Groot.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
He walked into the voice acting booth with the stilts, and he's like, "It makes me feel more powerful." What a fucking moron! Holy shit! Anyway, so Philip Seymour Hoffman said to like whoever else he was like, "Oh, he's like, yeah, I haven't slept in 3 days. I'm playing like a character who's an insomniac or something," and like his friend was like. Have you tried just acting?
Yeah, like, you know, the whole point of acting is to make it up. Like, if you can't make it up, then you're not doing your fucking job.
Yeah, so, like, I mean, I guess, for stuff like this, like, it's weird. He's just putting context in to be, like, this one's fine. Like, this isn't even Jared Leto, like, doing anything that insane. Like, I would probably do the same thing if I was an actor.
If it wasn't Jared Leto, I would actually think this is cool. You know, like after
it's not even that. I think the way he talks about it, the director talks about it.
Oh, the director's
is like
fucking quote is
way
insane.
too way too flamboyant about it.
Yeah.
It was sacred moment. I moved to tears. Fuck off.
Like seeing Jesus walk into a temple. Like,
yeah.
what the fuck? That's what Denise, calm down.
Yes.
But I would even say though, it is actually would be a really cool idea for the scene when you're going in to record it. Rather than trying to pretend that you're blind and like looking around the room and going like, oh shit, I keep like letting my eyes shift focus or some shit.
Yeah.
Or having them have to CG out my pupils dilating.
Mm.
Let's stick these fuckers in. Let's go completely blind.
Yeah.
Right? And go in and do the scene so that I literally, like, just cannot fuck this up. Like, that, yeah, down. Like, that's, as method acting goes, that's a fucking good idea.
Yeah, I think so, too. Yeah, not even to hate on Leto at this part. It's,
No.
yeah, it's more like the way the director is describing him is just way too embellished.
Yeah. But I wonder if even for Jared Leto, because like people just like selling him up on that because after his like antics, which I think might have been probably more of a practical joke than him trying to take it that seriously.
It totally could have been, and yeah, the way that people were reporting on it, they were like, he's fucking in the role.
And he's weird and he's crazy. Like, this could just be Jared Leto literally coming in on stage just to do this job and literally just thinking, if I blind myself, this is going to be way easier for me.
He's like, this is a good idea. He comes up, people start crying. He's like, what?
They just wear weird green coats. I don't get it.
I was in 30 Seconds to Mars. Okay, next up. That one got off the rails. Star Wars Episode 9. Colin Trevarrow fucking left. We're not sure if he got fired or what the fuck happened.
There's a lot of rumors. I'm not going to substantiate any of those.
They parted ways. I kind of want to just talk about that, actually, just in general. Is it weird to you how many directors are just like getting either in trouble or
I feel
leaving?
like it's a fad now. I feel like it's a fad because like the amount of attention that Joss
like
Whedon...
a Furby? Disney's like, this is the hot new thing to do.
They're
Get
back
rid of this
in POG form. No, but I mean, like, the amount of attention directors get when they put up a fuss, because, like, beforehand they used to just fucking take the jobs, right?
Sure, but you don't want to lose the job.
No, but they get paid anyways. That's the new thing, too, right?
Sure, but
No.
Okay, you can say your point first.
There's an interesting thing, because, like, I watched some people talk about this recently, is they said, like, back in the day, if you lost a job, you lost the money. You lost a job, you lost everything, right? But now today with the contracts and the unions, even if you don't do the job, you still get paid. I mean, look at fucking Kevin Smith. He gets hired on and makes tons of money for writing shit that never saw the light of day 1,000 times over.
For sure,
right?
Yeah. I mean, you need to get paid for writing whether it sees the light of day.
Yeah, no, I'm down with them getting paid for their work no matter what, so they don't get cut out. It's not an argument whether or not they should be doing that. However, to get themselves better paid, if you take a look at Joss Whedon's scenario, like he put up such a stink out of a properly personal basis, in my opinion, that it made a huge wave, and it did propel Joss Whedon into a new level of fame compared to before, when he was like, oh, he's just a Buffy guy, and then he's done his thing. And then the Avengers stuff, Avengers made him more popular, but to push him up to that level where he's now this director whose name falls along lines to the top of the top, it happened because of that stink, right? So I think a lot of directors now just look at that and they go, oh, I can just go, and whatever little discourse I have, let's just leave.
Oh, wow, I have like the exact opposite opinion. Because, like, this guy, I could be wrong, correct me if you remember this, weren't they having problems with him before? Like, we heard rumors of having problems, and then, like, they were like, okay, but you need to, like, toe the line, or whatever the fuck they said, and calm down, or whatever, and he, like, it seems like he, like, got his act together, or whatever the fuck he was doing. He was, like, playing ball, right? And then, now to, like, do this. I think this might be more the director's just trying to do something, like, on that, what was the Han Solo flick? It seemed like they were trying to get comedy, and so they wanted an action movie. Who knows? But like, are they trying to just do stuff that Disney's like, no?
Yes.
And like,
then so for Star Wars, I think that's more of the case actually, because they're like, oh, Star Wars directors, why does this keep happening? Because it happened with the fucking Rebel one, it happened with the fucking Han Solo movie, it's happening with all the others, it's happening with this Star Wars. It happened
with Rogue One, even.
Rogue
like,
One.
with the... Did you say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it happened with Rogue One with all the fucking cuts and shit.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is Disney hasn't fucked up when they do this. Like, the other companies like DC, when they lose a director and they fire people and they do reshoots and shit, and we end up with, like... fucking Beardgate, right? And all that stuff.
Yeah.
But with Disney, every time they go in and do a reshoot and recut, they recut it to exactly what it's supposed to be, because I think that directors go in there and you're right, like they go in there like, I'm going to make the Han Solo movie into a comedy, and then Disney's like, no. Everyone else would be like, all right, fuck, half the movie's filmed, we don't have enough money, just fucking release whatever it is, it's going to be a piece of shit, welcome to ruining the franchise, right? And that's what they do, they just release shit they know is bad, there's no way they don't know. But Disney's like, we have all the monies that ever exist. we are going to release proper content, because for some reason they seem to stick to that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have all the money, apparently you care about what you release, in contrast to, like, what people believe, and they're going in and going, like, fuck this shit. Like, no, you're not going to do that. Get out. We'll get someone who'll do the job correctly. We know what the vision is.
Do you think it's that Disney wants to play it safe within the mold of a traditional Star Wars film or film in general, and maybe these directors are trying to do some... I mean, I think making Han Solo a comedy is maybe a bit too far, but, you know, just doing something a little more stylistic with it or something like that. Do you think Disney's just trying to, like, reel back any sort of, like...
I'd be so cautious.
Any out-of-the-box thinking, and they're just like, no, fuck off. Like, stay in this line. Stay in these lanes.
With the trilogy, I'd be really cautious of breaking too much about it, too, though, because, like, think about it this way. You've got this new franchise or not the new franchise, but this reinvigorated franchise that is just fucking dragging in money.
Yeah.
Right? It's also lining up to be one of the next most iconic set of films to hit history, just as much as the original trilogy. Mm-hmm. And you're going to sit back and have any one of those possibly fuck up. You've got a team of people watching these guys like hawks to make sure these films turn out correctly. Mm-hmm. And the moment you step out of line, it's just going to be a no. Right?
Yeah.
And they should be doing that, because these movies are going to be judged with a fine fucking tooth comb. So, like, don't fuck this shit up. And I would say, like, yeah, totally do this. Keep firing directors, keep making this correct, and keep it on, because Disney has had nothing but had my total fucking faith, because they don't seem to be making many mistakes.
No, but, I mean, let's look at the Marvel movies for a second. I'm playing devil's advocate here a little bit.
Of course.
Let's look at the Marvel movies for a second. Like, we've both expressed a little bit, like, they're playing it very safe. A lot of these have the same formula, blah, blah, blah. It'd be nice to see something.
So is DC, even they keep fucking it up.
A little bit. I mean, DC's, yeah, like, whatever. You know, they're playing a little safe, playing a little, like, it's a little samey at this point. It'd be nice to get a little extra flavor in there with someone like Edgar Wright or whoever the fuck, right? Scorsese. Mm-hmm. Directing one of these films and putting their, like, spin on it. Mm-hmm. Do you think they're just, even Marvel is, like, diametrically opposed to something like that, and they're just like, no, like, we need to keep this tone, like, we can't now do...
I actually find that Star Wars...
Squirrel Girl or something.
Yeah. I actually find that the Marvel films have had a tone change, though, right? Because, like, take a look back at Captain America and all the stuff in the very beginning. There's humor, obviously, at any time. But the humor didn't kick in until Joss Whedon came in and did his usual... banter humor. That's where Joss Whedon shines. Mm-hmm. Like, Buffy is amazing because of the silly jokes they quip at each other the whole time, and he did that in Avengers. Awesome, right? And everyone laughed and had an amazing time. And the Hulk punching scene and the Hulk smash scene were all quoted indefinitely, like forever. And then every director, I feel like, just keeps on putting that in more, because you and I have been complaining about, like, in Doctor Strange and especially in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, they were just like, it's funny, ha 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 ha, and you're like, all right, guys. It is funny, and it was supposed to be, but back it up a few steps.
Yeah, reel it in, just like
reel it in,
just a little, like a couple notches.
Yeah,
not even
take out 3 jokes and make a little bit more time for drama.
Yeah, you're at 11, take it down to like 8.
8, yeah. And like, I feel like that's the tone now, because like Doctor Strange, I felt didn't need, like, almost half of the comedy it had. It should have had more of a tone, because it's Doctor Strange. And while Guardians of the Galaxy is supposed to be funny, I felt like it was jokes rather than like this funny expose, because the first Guardians was always like lots of slow motions of them, but they were like yawning or picking their nose, and they were just like the kind of like ragtag bums that they were, and it was just kind of a fluke that they were heroes in any fashion. And then in the most recent one, they didn't, all the slow-mos were just them slow-moing and fine, being heroes, and then just passing off jokes.
Yeah, right. It was a lot of jokes, and like, again, I even liked a lot of them. That was the thing, but like, there were a couple moments where I was just like, that could have been a better moment.
But I feel like that's the tone now. That's what I mean by the tones with the Marvel films, is I actually feel like it has changed, and it's gone in that direction, and they haven't been controlling it. I feel like they need to change it back. Go back to following the formula, the old formula.
I'd be a little more fine with it if we got, like, Guardians super jokey. Doctor Strange was a fucking sci-fi flick, and like, you know, Ant-Man turns out to be like a complete heist movie or something, you know, like filmed like Heat or like whatever.
I would like that change.
Something like that.
I would like Marvel Cinematic Universe Season 2 to do like the core movies, like the Avengers or whatever the fuck they're going to make the core movie into.
The big blockbuster, like, make those like they are.
The big team gathering films they do.
Yeah.
And then the side ones dictate the tone to each one, right? Yeah. Captain America, if they, well, that probably won't continue. Maybe it will. Like, you know, make that into your hardcore action films kind of deal, right? Or even make it a little bit like Die Hard and be kind of fun like that, right?
Yeah, or whatever, right?
And then you're right, like take our side characters that everyone's kind of come in, and like, who knows what's the Warlock movie going to be like, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Probably hardcore sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. Trevarrow reportedly, quote, focused a great deal of his creative energies on asserting his opinion during the production of Jurassic World, and since he was personally hired by Steven Spielberg, no one could drop him from the project. Following the film's incredible success, the director decided to helm the Book of Henry, which he was reportedly, quote, unbearable when doing the film. Quote, he had an egotistical point of view, and he was always asserting that. Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy won't put up with that type of personality, according to the film producer who's worked with the studio head. If you rub Kathleen Kennedy the wrong way, in any way, you're out. Well, you're done, the source said. A lot of these young new directors want to come in and say, I want to do this, I want to do that. A lot of these guys, Lord and Miller, Colin Trevorrow, got very rich very fast and believed a lot of their own hype, and they don't want to play by the rules. That's interesting too.
That's my
maybe
point,
maybe he's just a fucking rogue director.
It's like one moment you get out of line, like really, you got to be very careful with these films, and it's just the way it is.
Yeah, there's a fine line between like you're making an artistic choice and you're just trying to like put your dick stamp on it, you know. I guess ballsack print.
Ballsack print.
Everyone's got a unique ballsack print, much like a fingerprint.
That's where like the replacement. I actually found a really interesting one. Is a really good hot director is the girl who's currently doing Wrinkle in Time. I forget her name, but she did really good work recently on something else. What was it? Doesn't matter. Whoever she is, she just did a project recently that's perfectly tied in, and I think she'd be an excellent replacement. However, I think the most likely scenario is the guy who's currently doing the most current film. Apparently did a fantastic job and was really amazing to work with.
Yeah,
probably just him into the next one.
You want to do the next one? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like, so far they all call him the Looper director. Like, he has nothing else under his belt. He might as well become the Looper Star Wars director, you know?
That's true. Yeah, Looper's good. All right, let's keep on this Marvel train we've been talking about. Somehow got over that to Star Wars. Talking about the game, Marvel's Avengers. There's been some.
Was that a leak?
No, so it's job hirings. It's so they posted them. So Marvel's Avengers project will be an online third-person action adventure. Crystal Dynamics' upcoming Avengers game will feature social, shared, online play, and will, at least in some combat sections, resemble a third-person cover-based action adventure game.
So Avengers Destiny.
Well, third-person.
Oh, so
third person. So when I hear third person cover based, I think of like
Mass Avengers.
I think of like Mass Effect, Gears of War, like those ones. Back in January, Marvel announced that it was entering into a multi-year, multi-game partnership with Square-Enix. The first product of which was announced as the upcoming Avengers game. Very few details were announced at the time, and the game has remained quietly in development ever since. But now it seems we have our first idea of the direction in which the game is headed. We have a couple of job postings from Square-Enix subsidiary Crystal Dynamics for the upcoming game, which is currently referred to as the Avengers Project. One posting asks for applicants for a lead level designer. Hold the fucking presses, it's going to have levels. Focusing on level development. The posting specifically refers to, quote, fun and unique online experiences, and also asking for an understanding of the, quote, social implications of shared gameplay, as well as referencing various game modes and campaigns. The other posting is looking for an experienced combat designer who will work with the rest of the team to plan, prototype, and build combat systems that directly apply to a third-person cover-based action-adventure game. Looking at those two postings together, we can start to get an idea of the sort of game that's in development. It certainly seems as though the game will be online, perhaps hinting at an MMO, particularly considering the emphasis in the job description of shared gameplay in a variety of modes and campaigns. Could we be seeing a variation of Destiny's Fireteam style setup, with superheroes rather than Guardians?
I was thinking almost if they do MMORPG, this is almost sounding more like DC Universe Online, because DC Universe Online has primarily shooting mechanics for its like melee, and then it's like a third-person MMO, right? Or Anthem.
Yeah, or even something like Anthem, if that's what the future of those games look like.
Well, I'm kind of down with that. I mean, I don't know about shooting for a superhero movie or superhero game.
There's no shooting. There's no shooting mentioned.
Oh, it says third-person combat.
It just says, third-person cover-based action adventure game.
Yeah, but cover. Why are you taking cover?
I mean, you can go to cover if you're anyone.
Yeah, but if you're going to punch something, you're not just going to fucking go like, I'm going to go take cover from your punches.
It's true.
Like, third-person hiding behind a wall while someone just keeps punching over the wall.
It's true. If someone said third-person cover-based action game, I would say Gears of War, Mass Effect, all that kind of shit. So
shooting.
This is painting a weird picture. This is not what I expected, really.
I was expecting something close to this. I was highly suspecting of an online game, just because, like, that's what everyone fucking does. I knew it was going to go that direction. How
do you think that works? Do you think, let's say it's somewhat like Destiny, for example. Do you think everyone, like, you get strike teams of, like, what are strike teams, whatever it's called? Do you get, like, oh, there's 3 Hulks in my party and a Black Widow?
No.
Or is it, like, you're a Hulk type, but you get to customize, or you get to, like, you're...
So I think it's going to follow the DC Universe Online way, because, like, the opening credits have all the Avengers gear smashed and broken on the ground, right? I think the Avengers have been taken out. And then you're gonna have you're gonna be like the heroes for hire, and then you're gonna just have power types just like DC Universe. Like DC Universe had the fucking fire powers, or gadget guy who was Batman's powers, or
Fast Man,
or whatever, right? Like you had powers to that thing. So yeah, it'll be like the Bruiser, who will be like the Hulk powers, where you're like a big super strong character, or you're gonna get the spy powers or gadget powers, where you're like Hawkeye or Black Widow, or you're gonna get whatever, hexing or spell powers.
I wonder if that's what people want. Just, your random dude bro X coming into GameStop and you're like, oh, fucking Avengers Game? Yeah, fuck yeah, remember that movie? I love Joss Whedon's feminist point of view. And then, and then he picks it up, brings it home, he's like, I'm gonna get to play as all my favorites, Hawkeye and Hulk. And then he puts it in, he's like, why am I blue Hawkeye now? He's messing with it. He's like, I have to be this.
I always find it's an interesting thing to try and figure out, though, right? Because you can't play multiplayer with the characters unless each one of you only picks a certain character. So you could do it Overwatch style, where everyone gets to pick one type of character.
Yeah.
But that always adds up into the whole problem of there's 4 DPSs and no healer, and you're like, fuck.
It's a very weird problem.
That kind of problem. And
I almost feel like it just shouldn't be called the Avengers Game then. Yeah. It should be called the
Marvel Heroes.
Heroes universe, or some shit like that,
But they're using the brand, and I understand why they would.
It's true.
It probably would be better, because DC Universe Online never said that it wasn't Justice League Online, right? You could join the Justice League in DC Universe Online, but you just became one of the many fucking thousands of heroes that ever joined the Justice League in the history of the Justice League. So I don't know. I think it'll be you being a hero type of some kind, and then as you go along, you rescue the Avengers, and then you can interact with them and shit. Otherwise, it will be kind of probably more fucking the X-Men game, over the top.
Oh, like X-Men Legends or Marvel. What's that? It's exactly like the Marvel engine.
Unlimited or something? Or
yeah. Well,
you don't know what I'm talking
Unlimited.
About. Is it
no, no, I don't know what it is.
You know what I'm talking
about. Yes, I know,
yeah, the one where you're third person, or more over the top.
I think so many people are disappointed if it's that.
What?
If it's that Diablo style over the top.
Oh no, I think more in the context of that, where you actually play the characters. I think it'll be more third person over the shoulder this time. For sure.
We think you'll just get the whole Marvel Universe to pick from or something. Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about. Yeah. I mean, hey, if I can make my own symbiote character, stoked. If I get to play as Venom or Carnage, still stoked. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see.
This is the Marvel project, and unfortunately, Marvel doesn't have access to the symbiote, right?
They do.
They do?
Oh, I mean, that's only for movies.
Oh.
All that property stuff, only for movies.
Oh, okay.
Nothing else matters.
Okay.
Also, even in the movies, they have access to...
I thought the symbiote universe, the Spider-Verse that was coming up, was another...
It is.
Yeah.
Just because that's because Sony's a dickhead.
Yeah. Let's not get back into that.
Moving on. Final Fantasy 15 Director discusses what's next. On what's next for Final Fantasy 15? That's a very important question. Episode Ignis does
mark... It is. If I was the interviewer and I'd be like, so what's good for Final Fantasy 15? He goes, that's a very important question. I'd just be like, yeah, it is. That's why I asked it.
Are you done with this fucking game yet? That's an important question. Episode Ignis does mark a certain milestone in development for the game. But from then, we really want to engage with the community to find out what the content is that they absolutely have to see and they really want to see in the game. If there is that call for it, these people really do want to see a certain piece of content realized and added to the game, I would very much like to try and see if we can make that a reality.
No.
Okay, sure. I'm going to do a level editor. Shut up. For Tabata personally, he'd like to see the stories of Arden and Luna fleshed out with new content, something he's also hinted at in the past. I think certainly considering them as incredibly key characters to the story and as personalities, characters who stick up for themselves, that's something I'd really like to show. That also fits very well with the results of the survey we took, and that's what most people want to see too.
Alright, so you're going to have that happening then.
I really hope that doesn't. Just stop.
Work on your remake and fucking 16. Just stop.
On his team's next game, at the end of the year, I think we do have a drawing of the line and moving on to do the next project as well.
Oh, thank God.
Obviously, we're doing a lot of different things within the 15 development team at the moment, but every single thing that we're doing then really is something that we have to do to get the experience to move on to our next project. So I think we will be clearly...
I think we will clearly be moving in that direction at the beginning of the next year. So they're moving on from 15 at the end of this year.
Tabata wouldn't say what that project might be yet, but it did point to the team's diverse work on Final Fantasy 15 as a fantastic preparation for whatever the next challenge is. I'm so happy that what we do pleases the fans and gives them what they want. Okay, whatever.
Yeah. No, but it's fucking nice to know that he's like, yeah, we're moving on.
But Tabata's team, for those who don't know, Tabata's team is not and will not be working on Final Fantasy 16.
No.
They're already working on a new IP, nothing FF related. In the last 2 years, Tabata has said several times that he wants to do something that's not Final Fantasy next.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just going to see fucking more content. Like, let's get some more things that we all play.
Who's working on 16?
I
Tell
forget.
me. Probably nobody yet.
No, I'm sure they've assigned people.
It's like 3 guys in a boardroom drawing on balloons.
I don't know what's going on. Like, Square-Enix has really divided itself into other projects. I mean, heck, it's doing this Avengers thing right now, and it's got some other stuff on the line as well. But, like, Final Fantasy Remake was supposed to be out. They had that fuck-up that's happened.
That's the thing. I think that... maybe... Because that's Square Enix internal.
Mm-hmm.
So they have... I don't know how many teams they have internal. There's usually A team, B team, right? It's like first and second.
Depends on how many studios. I mean, take a look at the Ubisoft Montreal. They have 6 studios in Montreal.
Yeah, but I think Square Enix... They handle all, like, Final Fantasy development, like, in Japan, don't they? Like,
No.
Isn't that...
No, some of the Final Fantasy stuff went to Montreal. Last time I was there, it was... 15 was in there.
Yeah. You sure?
Yeah.
Are you positive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they were out there, like, designing shit and coming up with stuff. It was, like, dev work, like, please fix this bug and change this engine and shit.
Oh, no, I was under the impression they did, like, the main ones all internally there. Okay, so... Yeah, maybe there's a possibility that they're doing something.
I think what they mean, like, by internal, though, is that they don't let another studio outside in the way that they gave it out to the Shippuden guys, right?
Yeah.
Like, they don't give it out to any other partner studios, or like, actually, as an example, locally Snowden Studios worked on DSEX, Mankind Divided. And
Deus Ex, Mankind
whatever the
Divided.
Fuck. Divided. Whatever the fuck. Doesn't matter. They worked on it here, but they were just doing some dev support, right? And no one knew that ever fucking happened. You'd never fucking know until, like, someone else said so. So I think that's what they mean by internal development, is they don't outsource anything in any fashion whatsoever. I think it means that means that any Square Enix studio could work on it. Just it's only Square Enix employees, No, like, Clover Studio shit or whatever.
Yeah. You're saying it would be like Crystal Dynamics or Eidos.
Yeah.
Like, the ones they own will be working on it.
Yeah.
Who fucking knows?
Well, no, I don't even think that. I think, like, the Crystal Dynamics and Eidos guys wouldn't work on it, but, like, there is a Square Enix Montreal office, like, just Square Enix, not
Right,
Eidos
yeah,
or anything. So that's what I mean by, like, they worked on it. I don't know about the Eidos guys or the fucking Crystal Dynamic guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just really want to see that. I mean, like, a new IP from them, is that something that excites you?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I want Final Fantasy 16, but I'm going to be waiting 4 fucking years for that game.
At least.
I want Final Fantasy 7 Remake, but who fucking knows? That's probably 8 years at this point.
2021.
Yeah, or more.
We see part 1.
Yeah. And all that stuff. But the thing is I'm kind of tired of sitting around and waiting for fucking Final Fantasy games. I want other Square Enix content. I want my Square Enix of the 1990s back, where they were releasing Legends games and fucking like all of those. Remember, like, every game I picked up, I'm like, why did I love this game? A Square Enix logo pops up, and I'm like, oh right, because they make all the games.
Yep.
So, like, I want that Square Enix.
You're right.
back.
That's being optimistic. I was thinking, like, I'm like Square, just keep doing Final Fantasy. But you're right. I would love to see a return to, like, 90s era Square.
I want the Final Fantasy, sure, but you know what? It's like I want Square Enix and Squaresoft to support themselves, because they're still an incredible company, and the content they release is generally always amazing, right? Like, I remember when I picked up Dissidia, I thought it was going to be a piece of shit, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, these guys know how to design games, right? They were the best, and they always were the best. They were among the firsts, right? I want them back doing what they do, and that's designing great games. And I want to get my fucking what is that? When I went Threads of Fate and Revenant Story and or Radiant Story and or not Revenant. No, sorry.
Radiant Story is a thing, and I think Revenant Story is also a thing.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, all those games that came out in the 90s, they were like singular releases, but they were just like huge.
Yeah, there was random one-off
Yeah.
games with cool different combat systems and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
Like, I want them back.
Yeah, I agree. I was being very cynical in my head of, like, I'm like, no, you guys are kind of shitty. Just do the thing you're good at. But, like, yes, I mean, optimistically, yes, I would love that.
Mm-hmm. And hey, go back, bring back Legend of Dragoon, go back and bring back Legends games. You guys were talking about doing that, like Legends of Mana and stuff.
Bring back the Mega Man Legends games.
Did they do that?
No.
Oh.
No, they didn't. That was Capcom.
Okay. I was like, I thought someone handed that off because that was like this weird one-off where I'm like, wow, you guys made a really great Mega Man game. Never making it again, apparently.
Yeah, they made 2 of those, and I don't... I loved Mega Man Legends. They were a lot of fun.
The first one was so good.
It was really good.
So
it was
good.
really, really good.
Yeah.
And Mega Man Legends 3 was going to be kickstarted and all this shit, and then Capcom fired that dude, and he made Mighty Number 9. That's what you get for wanting things. Alright, last story, which I think is interesting. Randy Pitchford, the fucking whatever he is, CEO of Gearbox, whatever. Pitchford discussed Gearbox's decision to ditch their original plan to use a realistic art style in favor of a more cartoonish one, which was ultimately a better fit for Borderlands. While he believes it was the right move, the cap on the non-realistic aesthetic that put on the series' success is one of the most frustrating things for him about the franchise. Pitchford says that what he knew when he decided to go with the cartoon art style, it would, quote, fix the dissonance between the visuals and the gameplay, but would also put a limit on Borderlands' potential audience. I knew I was putting a ceiling on us because there's, especially back then, just a huge percentage of the gaming audience that does not want a cartoon, he explained. Borderlands 2 shipped 5 million copies in its opening months and went on to pass the 12 million mark by March of 2015. Still, Pitchford believes the series' aesthetic is the limiting factor. The ceiling's still there and we're just pushing it, he explained. While he's not sad about Borderlands 2 sales, Pitchford noted that there's still a whole lot of people in the world who just didn't buy it. Our mission is to entertain the world, so we are dismal failures. Borderlands is a horrific failure if our goal is to entertain the world, he explained. There's 7 billion people in the world. What's 25 million or 30 million units? That sucks, Pitchford added, laughing.
Jesus.
He said added laughing, so he's...
I know he's being joking, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's still nevertheless to sit back and go like, there's 7 billion people in the world. Why didn't all 7 billion buy them? You're like,
Yeah, like, well, several billion of them don't have access to electricity.
Yeah, or clean water. They're more worried about that component first.
Like, there's no clean water, and then they get handed this copy of Borderlands 2, and they're like, ugh. That looks bad.
That looks bad.
So what do you think about cell shading limiting the audience? I think he's right.
Yeah, there's a component to that. I mean, at first I would always say, you know what, it wasn't your cell shading, it was the fact that everything was brown. But you're right, like, there is something to be said about, like, graphics quality not being able to, like, really reach a high fidelity because you choose a style that's really rudimentary.
Not even that, because it's not even rudimentary. Like, I mean, there's detail in these environments and stuff. I think there's a certain type of person that looks at the box and sees cartoon and thinks no.
Yeah,
they
but
look
what
at
about
Call of
Mario?
Duty, they think yes.
What about Mario? Right?
Yeah.
Mario, like, has upped its graphics over time and gotten more and more clean looking, and like, I mean, looking at the latest Mario, it looks beautiful, but it's still a cartoon, right? Or any of those cartoony games like Mario Kart. Like, the same guy who picks up Call of Duty, they all fucking play Mario Kart.
I'm not sure that's true.
Oh, God,
but
everybody plays Mario Kart. God, it's the only game where I go, you play Mario Kart, and like, they've never picked up anything but.
Sure. I know people who are very much like that, where they want a realistic art style. For whatever reason, cartoons are just off-putting to them. They won't play even a Mario or something, you know. And especially and I think, you know, if you're the kind of person who looks at Mario and you're like, oh, kiddie shit, but I love Call of Duty. Borderlands is totally something that, if it had a realistic art style, that could potentially play to an audience that would buy a Call of Duty. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like,
it's like the same.
Overwatch is like I would argue the most successful game on the market right now. And it's a complete cartoon style. It's practically Disney. Like, even their animations are the same thing. And you're talking about the most hardcore gamers on the planet who, like,
totally,
literally the streamers right now are the former Call of Duty, Black Ops masters on the Game Master, Sniper, blah blah shit, and they're playing Overwatch now in this cartoony style. I agree that style can make a huge difference on your sales and whether or not you're hitting a market that you're looking for. But I actually think it's more than just the art style. Like, it's more of a kind of like a merger between the two. You did this art style, but then your marketing for it was really wonky, right? Like, the stupid guy, like, shooting himself in the side of the head and being like, we're punk rock, Borderlands, and we got this wacky style, right? That picks you out playing a particular genre of people, right? And while Overwatch, its design and its art says that this is more fun for kids and for everyone. But they advertised it out as this really moving and engrossing and enticing game. And
I think you're totally right about the Overwatch thing.
it.
Overwatch is, it's like it's a super cartoony looking game. Everyone's hyper stylized, and it's like one of the most popular things on the market right now.
Yeah, and everybody plays it, from the former Call of Duty players and everything. And it was just that Blizzard is a marketing genius. They always have been. And they marketed that game perfectly to everyone properly. But while this game, they marketed it out being like, join in on the punk rock fun.
To a niche kind of thing, right?
Yeah. So they could have turned this style into something that everyone fell in love with. I also have to agree, though, that the whole cell shaded thing has always been a hard sell.
I also think, 12 million is really good, and 30 million lifetime sales for the franchise also
This
very
guy's
good.
whining. He's currently doing like a fucking Scrooge McDuck in his fucking pile of money.
Isn't that enough?
Isn't that enough?
It's like that gif of Woody Harrelson wiping his tears with money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's super good, and I wonder what he thinks he could hit, because even if Borderlands looks super realistic and it appealed to more people, and I still don't think it would hit. I think it might hit 40 million, maybe. It wouldn't hit so many more that it would be entertaining the entire world or whatever.
You need to have a good marketing campaign behind it, and then have adjusted your game to match and create this kind of universal, acceptable to everyone stuff. But you're also talking about your genre, right? This was a violent game, which was not an E for everyone.
Yep.
It involved shooting and killing and death, and it involved explosions and blah blah blah. So if you were going after the Call of Duty players and all that kind of stuff, you would have niched your market again, and you would have still hit close to the same numbers.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know what you'd expect.
Yeah, it's almost a strange thing to talk about, but it's an interesting conversation.
No, it's interesting. It's does style influence your market? Yeah, of course it does, but you can adjust that with your marketing strategy.
Yeah, maybe it's not as big a deal as he thinks it is. I don't think.
It's funny with the whole money thing. Every time I ever think of bigwigs with money is this Dorkly comic that came out talking about the Steam team, Steam owners. And they're sitting back going oh, we put on these microtransactions and they don't do anything and they're just clothes. And then the guy walks up and he's no, this is a terrible idea. No one will buy that. Next sell is them throwing money in the air, right? And he's and now we're going to make them pay twice as much to even try and upload it. No, sir, no one would ever. Next sell is just them swimming in money. And they keep doing that until the money fills up the whole screen.
There was a story that I read. I'm not sure what the validity of it is. Don't quote this as true. It sounds like it'd be a thing though. Apparently, one of the developers of Farmville?
Yeah.
Farmland? Farmville?
Farmville.
One day they recolored one of the cows blue, and they put it up for sale, and they were and someone was why are you doing that? And he's I don't know. And it was just kind of I'm bored. And they put it up for sale as a limited time blue cow.
Yeah.
They made 1.5 million off that cow in the day it was up.
Yeah.
What?
Talk with your money, people. If you think this stuff is dumb, stop buying it en masse.
I would imagine anyone listening to us is smart enough not to buy that kind of shit. Especially with Farmville, I think it's moms. Then they're I don't care about dropping a 50 cents to $2 on this blue cow. I want this blue cow.
Go to other games. Look at the games out there that had all those I'm not even gonna list them. It's a huge list of games that have drama based on microtransactions, right? And then everyone's oh, these microtransactions, fuck them. And then they release something where they're just get your character a crown, right? Or even the new really popular multiplayer shooter that's out there right now. PUBG. Their current thing is you can buy fucking mini skirts on the girls, right?
Oh.
And it's fucking millions of dollars tossed at people buying fucking mini skirts.
That's so weird.
Yeah, you're not listening. If you're whining, stop buying.
That's the goodest place to end it as any. If you're whining, stop buying.
Yeah.
Stay tuned next for the After Dark segment where Mike and I are going to talk about what we're watching, reading, playing, and we're also going to do a little review of Death Note.
Yeah.
Because, whoo!
That was a hot thing. It was hot one way or another. Listen to the next half to figure that out.
Welcome back to the After Dark segment, where we talk about what we're watching, reading, playing, diddling.
Who'd we diddle?
Who'd we diddle? What'd we diddle? Where'd we do it? There's Colonel Mustard.
And sometimes I diddle.
So this segment we go over everything we're watching, reading, playing. Shorter list this week. We're going to try and power through the little stuff we've been watching and just fly right into our review of Death Note, because we both watched it. Like we promised last week, we do this for the people.
We really did have to suffer through this one.
We're men of the people.
Yep.
Charity cases.
I think I literally gave up life for this.
Alright. Let me tell you who else gave up some life.
Oh, God.
Tien from Dragon Ball.
Did he die?
No, he didn't die. He got eliminated this week in what was probably the worst episode of the arc so far.
No, I thought his fight would at least be good.
Oh, I really hope so.
Yeah.
With Roshi, he got a good fight. Tien, I was really hoping they'd give him,
a chance?
Yeah, so what happened was, I'll really quickly, there was a sniper in the arena. And it turns out it was a guy who was shooting another guy, and it was reflecting off him, so no one could tell where the energy source was coming from. Gohan and Piccolo are fucking stumped by this. They're idiots. So Tien realizes that, like, oh, it's another dude shooting this other guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to go help. So Tien does his clone technique. He makes 4 of himself. And, like, all 4 of them are running towards the sniper. And he's like, okay, if at least one of me makes it, we're golden. He gets there with only one of them left, fights the dude, it injures him, and they're, like, on the edge of the arena. And he's like, you're a good warrior, but you weren't good enough. And he does his, like, hand thing, and he's about to Kikoho him or whatever. Kikoho, go fuck yourself. And he's about to do it, and then the guy was like, you're a pretty good warrior, but so am I. And, like, he, like, blasts the arena, like, just that area, so they both fall out. So they're both falling out, and the other guy jumps back up. Like, he uses his blast to jump up, so just Tien's falling off.
They can't fly in this fight, I guess?
No, there's no flying.
Oh, okay.
That's part of the rules.
Okay.
Even though sometimes it looks like some of them are flying.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like long jumping.
I thought some of them were, like, hovering at some point.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. There's very long jumping still going on. There's no flying fights, though, and stuff. And so Tien's falling off, but then his 3 clones grab the dude and, like, go down with this other guy, and he's like, they're like, not so fast, or whatever, and then they all got ranged out, and it's like, why didn't you leave one of your clones up there, man? Yeah. Like, you only needed 1 to get him back down with you. You could have easily sacrificed your 2 clones and then kept 2 in the... Anyways, it was really bad. So this is not a good episode. Dragon Ball Super is on a break this week, so you won't hear about it next week. But coming up is the 1-hour special where, presumably, spoiler warning, Goku gets his new form.
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
1-hour special. Yeah. And they got their best animators on it, so I'm actually kind of excited.
Like, they're just gonna, like, give him red hair?
No, he already has that. He already has red hair. They revealed what the form looks like. He has black hair. I showed you.
Kaioken is red hair?
No, Kaioken's just... it's a red aura.
Yeah.
Around him.
What's red hair?
Super Saiyan God.
But I thought that was a blue.
That's Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan.
What? Oh my god, why do I ask questions?
Okay, they just call it red and blue now in the series. Like, he's Super Saiyan Blue, but the form is called, like... The red form is called Super Saiyan God, with his red hair. And then when he goes Super Saiyan in that form, it's called Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. It's fucking stupid. Anyway, I showed you the new form, I think. He has black hair still, and it's just, like, in a slightly different style. It's not, like, his up Super Saiyan.
No, I don't think.
Did I show you?
No.
I thought I probably forget.
Yeah.
So anyways, that bad episode. My Hero Academia, something we both watched now. We're all cut up. I'm enjoying these episodes. It was the students fighting the teachers.
Yeah, so I mean, I think the last time we even talked about this was the start of the Swain thing. Swain was actually really great. I'm glad they executed that well. I thought the fight was a little less well animated than most of the others, but
who?
Stain, sorry.
Oh no, Stain was great. I thought Stain was like very good.
It was very good, very good. I was just considering what I saw in the anime, which was such a wonderfully choreographed fight in the manga. Sorry. Like, I really was hoping it would go in that kind of direction. There was a couple of moments where it was a little bit too, like, repetitive, but
no, I didn't. Yeah,
just a lot of, like, ice pillars going up and him jumping around, and I'm like, But, no, I mean, the whole Stain part was very well done.
We already talked about that, though.
But, I mean, for the new stuff, what was all the new stuff all together?
Practical exams, and they're fighting their teachers.
Yeah, but wasn't there something right before that they were doing? No?
Nothing interesting. It was just
interesting.
It was just like the
like workup
stuff for all for one and all that shit.
Yeah,
so.
that's what they're explaining it. Which, I mean, for those who didn't know, I mean, it's always nice to get a little bit more info about that ability, which seems to have a lot more depth to it than just punch good. But yeah, no, I mean, I like the test stuff. Again, if it's feeling rushed, like I don't the pacing for it, considering how much content was in the manga for the tests and the fights between the teachers. And in the most recent episode, they do the fight with the ectoplasm teacher. And the fight with Nightmare, what the fuck's his name?
The Ravenhead boy?
No, the other fight with the other teacher, the teacher who blocks quirks with his looking.
Oh, yeah. I forget his name.
Both of those fights took up a good chunk in the manga.
Majority of the episodes.
Now the fight with the quirk stealing guy. That was literally from the manga, exactly how it happened. I just felt like it could have been better executed. But like the ectoplasm fight, I felt like went for longer. It just feels very like getting through the teachers, which obviously they're going to want to try and get to
the main one.
The main one, which is All Might's fight with Deku and Bakugo. But still, I mean, they're literally at least getting all the content in from the manga for it. I just feel like there could have been some more exploration because, while the story is obviously about Deku and everything like that, like he's the main protagonist. I like the fact that of any manga that really does explore the rest of the team in a good depth, and all of the heroes are fun in their own way.
I like a lot of the characters. Yeah. Like there's
Froppy's come up as a huge
I
favorite.
fucking love Froppy. Yeah. Like she's top 3.
And she's constantly getting talked about as being like one of the best heroes out of the whole class.
She's awesome. I love her.
Yeah. And to see her pulling off good shit, it's always fun. Whatever his name is with the shadow.
Yeah, Ravenhead.
Whatever
his name is.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him, man.
Yeah. And again, another great character. I liked being able to see All Creation Girl actually doing stuff. I would have preferred her doing more than just doing a girly run around.
I thought her lack of confidence in this latest episode was not sudden because it was foreshadowed that this is how she was feeling, but it was a little much compared to how she'd acted before. It'd be it was going from the most confident person in the world to shittiest person who's gotten abused their whole life or something, It
was foreshadowed before with the other episodes, but I think you're right. The escalation of it wasn't shown because in the manga it was very clear it was happening, and then in the show it was by the way, every episode here's a little hint that she's having some confidence issues, and then by this episode it was more instead it was just 0.1.
Yeah, she has she's the weakest
5.
She has the weakest ideal alive, and it's and then she gets over it.
Yeah.
I thought those were fun. But that's the thing; they were just fun. They weren't the main episodes that you're dying to see or anything.
But I'm curious on your perspective on this. Do you feel at this point right now those episodes are weaker? Because in the beginning, all the way up until the Stain fight, every fight was enduring. Like Aravity's fight with Bakugo and stuff, and you were
that's exactly what I was thinking of. That was such a good fight, and it was fairly inconsequential in the grand scheme of things.
And you really cared and you felt for her.
Yeah.
And all the fights kind of had that in the tournament, but with I know it's just a test in the school and it's not that as much in up on the line for them.
Yeah.
But this whole show is about you sitting there crying practically because you're cheering for everyone so much and you feel so good cheering everyone on.
Yeah, the stakes don't feel as high and
I'm not cheering as hard as I used to with else.
Yeah, totally. That's how I feel too.
Yeah.
Fun, but not its regular greatness.
Yeah, it's not revving me up like it used to. But it doesn't mean it's going to forever.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Is that what we've been watching normally?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We also watched It. Go check out our review, as we mentioned last segment.
Yeah, so it should be out right now with the rest of this. We just saw the film. Go check out that, and you can get an in-depth, it's spoilerific review of It.
Yeah, we kind of go do a scene-by-scene breakdown of what we liked, what we didn't like. Run through the whole film. I've been still playing Mass Effect Andromeda, slowly chipping away at it. I wish I was going a little faster, considering how fast October is approaching. I'm liking it. I'm still... I just did a bunch of shit I really liked, and it was all, talking shit. It was all interacting with characters. I got off EOS. I finished the vault there or whatever. Sorry, spoilers for Mass Effect Andromeda for after EOS the first time. Not too far after.
I always found that frustrating with that component of the first start of the game was okay, so you turn this thing on and they're all right, the gravity or the radiation's going to alleviate soon, right? And I expected it to change when the story changed, just as I went along. Every single time you go back, you're just oh, the radiation's still... when the fuck does the rest of this planet open up?
I have no interest in going back to EOS right now.
No.
Exploring the planet was the least fun part of this game.
EOS is the worst planet to explore, though.
Do they get better?
They get better.
You would think with the first planet you're exploring, they'd really try to knock your socks off.
It was the worst one. Why did they choose a desert to be the first planet?
Yeah,
you can't make a desert interesting.
Metal Gear tried.
Yeah.
Failed.
Failed. It's just sand. That's how you make a desert real.
No, and that's what I was already thinking. I don't think I'm going to do much on these planets. They're just so, barren and lifeless. But okay, if they get better, then that's interesting.
And the other thing, too, is that there's a lot of additional content and side story content that comes across from you, running into side missions and shit.
Oh, fuck. Maybe I'll just look it up so I can get straight to it or something.
Yeah.
I want to ask something that maybe you'll know. So far, I just got to the Angaran Galaxy area. There's 4 planets in that area or whatever.
Yeah. And you got to their planet yet?
Yes. Yeah, and I recruited Jal.
Yeah.
Also, okay, wait. First, I'm going to ask this question. For the planet scanning, the mineral.
Yeah.
Do planets just have one you can get? Are there ones with... Because I remember in Mass Effect 2, 3, whatever.
2.
There was you'd be scanning and you'd be boop, boop, boop. And there'd be multiple on a lot of these planets. I just keep getting one for like I got one planet with 2, and that's it. And like I
Oh, you
went
mean
to
in the whole solar system?
So when I go into a planet and I go into this like solar system or whatever, and there's like 6 planets in that area, like 3 of them have nothing, and then like 3 of them have 1 each, and I'm like, is this it? Like,
like each planet could have any number of things. Any number of planets could have something on it, but each one only has 1.
Only 1. Okay, so it is only 1.
Yeah.
I thought it was like, I kept trying to scan and like the like little orange marker's not coming up, and I was like, okay, I mean, this is probably a waste of time. Like I won't scan the planet, but like I was surprised. I thought just based on the past, I was like, why does everything only have 1?
Yeah, I mean the scanning is.
It confused me, but yeah.
The scanning is important in order to get all the resources and shit, and also that also has some of them unlock quests as well. Like you can go find a wreck ship, and then that wreck ship will send you on a mission to go find out why that happened.
I found wreck ships. I found satellites. I've done 100% of every galaxy so far, but it just seems so.
Yeah.
Maybe they just thought scanning wasn't fun, and they just want to make it real easy. Like here's 1 on every planet. I don't know. It's just it wasn't like how it was, so I was confused. I was very much like
that was my most disappointing part in Andromeda, considering they promised us this epic new exploration and going to see all these planets, and instead you spend more time exploring on the planets than you do exploring solar systems. When really what we wanted was an ability to explore all of them, right? And going in and just scanning them quickly was like fucking Jesus Christ. That's not what we wanted. I wanted to be able to spend time with them. Give me less planets then.
Yeah.
And let me spend time with each one. Even if I don't have to land on it.
Yeah.
Let me go and like have me put into orbit. And in that orbit I have to scan different things. And then maybe I get to send out a little like raiding party onto like a ship or something like that. And
yeah,
it's just like
something.
a one hallway deal. Like it doesn't matter. Just small, intimate
it was such an
encounters.
such an odd thing. Thank you for clearing that up.
So don't like you have to do it because it does unlock stuff and it does give you.
I like scanning. I like just in Mass Effect 2. I loved putting on a podcast and like, okay, I got fucked on a plants to scan. I'm just gonna mine some minerals.
And the writing's still good. I like reading about each planet when you go up to it and finding out like the history of them. Some of them are like, oh, this planet like exploded at some point and there's actually some like life here and shit. Like I like that. I love that component of Mass Effect. And I wish they had elaborated on it. Instead, they went back to like Mass Effect 3 and were just like, nope.
Yeah, I was just very off put by it.
Yeah.
The other thing was
Jaal.
Is it Jaal? It was Jaal.
Yeah, I brought it up when you said you landed on the planet.
Yeah, I don't remember what I was gonna say now.
But you like the character?
Yeah, I totally like Jaal. Jaal seems like a badass. Like he seems totally. I don't like how like the entire race looks because I'd only ever seen him in the previews. I knew he was part of a race.
He's an interesting.
They look fucking weird a lot of times. They stand weird and like I don't know if that's on purpose or not but like a lot of them look like their heads are just too big for the model of the body.
Yeah, the weird fin thing comes out. The women are just awful. All of them.
They look bad.
Yeah,
and
like the men at least look kind of neat.
They look good. Yeah, they look more in proportion and like normal.
Yeah, the women just look awful. But I mean, they're aliens. They're not supposed to conform to our natural like specs, but they're not a cool design.
No, not at all.
But here's an
he looks cool, like Jaal does.
Jaal looks great.
Yeah,
I love Jaal. Here's an interesting little thing that I clicked on after we made our. So check this out on YouTube. We have unused concepts of Mass Effect on there. When you're doing the Tali review, one of the unused concepts for what Tali would have looked like is an Angaran.
No way.
Yeah, go back to the video and check in the book too. It's in the Mass Effect book.
Oh shit!
They used an unused Tali concept from Matt Rhodes as the Angaran design.
Interesting.
It is literally exactly what they used to make the Angarans.
Wow.
Talk about lazy.
Yeah.
They didn't even create new designs for their whole new species. The only species you encounter in the whole fucking game.
I remembered what else it was. Sorry, I got Jaal on the ship.
Yeah.
And a trophy popped.
Yeah.
And it was like, full party. And I was like, oh. And like, so I go in the trophy and it's like, recruit all party members. And I was like, I am so early in this game. Like,
everything happens pretty early.
I don't know if I like that or not, because oftentimes in RPGs, I don't like when you get a really late game character, like in Final Fantasy IX, when you get armor on, and it's like, dude, there's like 5 hours of game left.
Yeah.
I'm not going to use you.
No. I don't want to have to get to learn your system.
I don't like that, but at the same time, that trophy popping and like me realize I was like, oh, it's the full, like, I expected there to be a surprise character or like another one. It's so early on to have the full party. I was like, oh, okay. Like part of me is like, oh, okay, so I'm fulfilled. But like the other part of me is like, okay, so no more. That's good to know, I guess.
Well, so part of it is actually I find is that the intros for all the other characters are rushed too, because like
yes,
like your
Drac,
Drac, like hi.
Drac just like comes out as a badass. He throws a corpse down, and he's like, you should join us. And I'm like, I don't think you should ask this Krogan to join you right away. Yeah. And he's like, no. And then you're like, okay. I thought Drac was going to be like, oh, we're probably going to find him on another planet. He's going to be doing the same shit. And like, we're going to keep running into each other and he'll reluctantly join us at some point.
No.
End of Eos planet, he's like, I'm coming with you. And I was like, oh.
No. But the thing is Drax is one of the best characters
Drax,
in the whole game.
I love Drax, yeah.
His dad stuff is so fucking funny. Like, getting emails from him where he sends you, like, spam messages of old gun catalogs that he got spammed.
I got the email where he said, like, he's attached 37 pictures of guns with watermarks and low-res images.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or he sends you, like, we should be sending this Prince money because he needs money to save us and stuff because he's getting into an email scam. And then you write back, Drax, I think this is a scam. And he's like, what are you talking about? We have to save this guy, blah, blah, blah. And his mission, his, like, personal mission, fucking genius. It's, like, one of the best Krogan moments, actually, I've ever had in Mass Effect is that.
Oh, cool.
Like, it's just so Krogan-y. It's great.
Yeah, I love Drax. He's, like, he's my boy, and...
Getting to the Krogan home world, like, they have, like, their town, fucking excellent design, really cool. So, like, Krogan stuff's really well done. But then again, like, go onto the Turian, like, you just showed up at the ship and you're just like, she's like, hi, I'm a smuggler. And I'm like, I'm not. Okay, I'm coming with you.
Yeah, totally.
Like, I didn't even have to coerce you into, like, coming.
And I like her, but, like,
I like the characters, but I had no, like, they have no reason. They just showed up and they're just like, Pathfinder.
Yeah,
like,
PB's like, oh, you're going to be chasing Remnant? I need to be here. And it's like, okay, like...
Yeah. And she's even like, I don't like you, I'm not going to hang out with you. And you're like, okay, so why are you coming?
Yeah.
You don't even want to...
I was very disappointed at the, like...
You feel pretty self-sufficient. Why don't you just go fucking take care of it?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I totally... Yeah, it feels a little rushed. But, that's really all that's new. I just did a bunch of stuff I really enjoyed. Like, I turned in the mission to, the first murderer on the Nexus or whatever. Yeah. Exiled that motherfucker. Exiled them. What did you do?
Turned in the first murderer.
Is that guy, and he's like... It's the first
What were the two options? You can exile him to the planet, or...
Like, set him free on the Nexus. Because the whole thing was, he didn't shoot... Or, the guy that's dead got eaten by some animals, and he was shot by a cat.
Yeah.
But the dude's intention was to shoot him and kill him, and as far as he knows, he did.
Yeah.
Until you do the evidence. Yeah. And so I was like, you intended to, and he's dead, and as far as all you knew he did, so you're exiled.
Yeah, I exiled him.
Yeah, fuck him.
Yeah.
And I thought...
And that story continues later on.
Okay, good. I was going to say, because, like, I thought that was a really cool mission, because it was so gray. It was like, okay, so he's, like, technically innocent, but not really. Like, I was like, that's really cool. So then after I did it, I wandered around, and I was like, is his wife here? Is she going to have to say anything to say? Went up to everyone, trying to talk. I'm like, where? And I went to the Turian who's in charge of, like, military, and he was like, yeah, the wife left with him. That's sad. They might survive. And I was like, oh, okay. Goodbye. Like, that was it. And I was a little unsatisfied by the end of it, but, like, I liked everything else.
A lot of those stories actually do continue in different places.
Okay, cool.
They continue on different planets, because, like, you start finding new settlements and stuff like that, and it expands. It's always a good idea in that game is to get more of those stories, because that's actually the only thing that makes Mass Effect Andromeda actually really honestly good, is the character and story development stuff, is, like, going back to your settlements and doing all the missions that pop up when you get there, doing all those little side missions. You actually get a lot of more intricate backstory and a lot of interesting things.
Okay.
Which the only part of Mass Effect Andromeda, culture-wise, about the whole universe that you created that's interesting, is the new civilization that grows as you discover it and start unlocking it and growing it. And, like, hearing all the backstories and interesting stuff. So it's like this real pioneering culture that's popping up, and, like, the weird lower black market economy that suddenly grew, and, you know, et cetera, like, all that kind of stuff. It's actually, that is really fun and cool and very pioneering and interesting. The main story wouldn't just click through it.
Alright, I will.
Yeah.
I'll keep you updated as I continue playing. You were playing Overwatch?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always playing Overwatch, but I was just picked by something about it this week, and it kind of just is a gaming thing in general, but it's happened in Overwatch just very recently, and it's always about patching characters and then trying to buff them and like balance them and shit. And I don't understand what happens through people when they fucking do this shit. Every single time any patch happens, some character gets overblown. I had one YouTuber try and explain it to me that, you know, if you have a really weak character and if you have, like, a bar graph, right, and then you were like, okay, that character's really weak, it's actually really hard to like, make sure everyone else gets buffed up, and then, like, keep her buffing up, and then everyone just keeps getting buffed up, because you'll buff her up, and then suddenly you need to buff everyone else, and then you buff them up, and, like, it's just this constant scaling upwards. But it's easier to buff everyone else down, or nerf everyone else down, and then, like, move them all back up together so that you don't gain too much. I kind of get that. However, it never fucking works out that way. Every single time it ever happens, there's always some character that just ends up stupid, you know? And, like, currently one of the functions in Overwatch that I actually really hate is, like, I never thought this character was weak in any fashion. Maybe he's more so in PC, But the character's Junkrat, and he has a gun that shoots out these little like grenade balls that bounce, like they actually like ricochet as they bounce, and then whenever they hit, they explode. There's no real way to aim this thing because it's just basically like opening up an end of a grenade launcher and it's going boom, 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 and not watching the balls bounce around. But you can just fire these things down any chokehold and it'll just bounce around and probably hit something. So it's just random luck, but they hit more often than not. And they're a really good way of just making sure no one goes in that place, right? And then he has this ground trap that he can throw down to trap people. Sure. Like a bear trap. And it's a literal bear trap. And then he has a grenade, or not a grenade, a mine that like sticks to stuff that he could throw out and explode. And that does massive amounts of damage, can launch him in the air, and you can toss it out. They gave him a second one. Like, so now he has 2 of those mines. So basically he can like just keep tossing these things fucking out all the time now. Yeah. And any character that's a low, squishier character that's supposed to be in the back, here's this thing that can fling itself into the air, fire random grenades everywhere, just spray out into the open and just cover an area, and then throw another one in your face. Constantly. And I'm like, maybe it's different in PC for the controls and how it works and you end up burning through it faster, but on fucking PlayStation, like on the console, like I play a lot of Widowmaker as a sniper. If a Junkrat's on that, I can't fucking stay still because the thing just walks up to me. I'm like, usually they would come up and I'd be like, all right, I'm going to jump over their bombs because they're only on the ground, and then I'll like come to the back and I have a chance to get away. Yeah. Right? And this one instead, I just see them turn the corner and then I see the hand just go, and then boom, in my face, I'm dead. Done. No questions asked. Right? And I'm like, there's no counterplay to that. And there are other characters that has happened to as well. And it just drives me insane. What is the decision making on a character that I don't think had any major loss ratio? Probably had a low play ratio because it's such a random shotgun. Like, you can't play that in competitive where something you can actually aim. Giving him another grenade is not the answer.
They need to play test these things, right? Is my only possible answer. Like they did it and they're like, maybe this'll work, and they're like, they're seeing it now and they're probably like, maybe, okay, take that back out. Like, you know.
I would say that
it just takes a while for these things to happen.
If they had the patch schedule like League of Legends, whenever something happens, like as soon as something gets way too overpowered, you're like got 2 weeks with it being insane, and then like the next patch comes out and it's gone instantly. Like nothing stays too overbroken for too long in that game because of the patch schedule is so constant. Yeah. But like Overwatch patch schedule, I think is maybe once a month, or even then, whenever they do character changes, it's months in between. So this means that this thing's going to sit there
for a long time. Yeah.
A long time. Meaning my experience is ruined on the character I like to play because of the. I wish balancing was more carefully thought of by the teams that run this stuff.
Yeah, they do that in in Street Fighter 4. They did a lot of patching and balancing, and Sagat was super overpowered at first, and his attacks took priority over almost everything else, and they needed to patch that out, and then became almost useless after that. So then they were like, fuck. So they had to keep revising him, and this character was going up and down and up and down, and it's weird to play as him or try to main him when his attacks are you're like, oh, I can't reliably do this anymore because it's not functioning the same technically. It looks the same, but they change the frames, the amount of damage it does, and all that stuff. It's just not effective. You can't combo into it sometimes, so yeah, it's annoying.
Yeah. So we'll go on to doing our Death Note review.
Let's do it. Let's dive right into Death Note. Okay, so this is going to be full spoilers from the get-go. If you have not seen the Death Note anime or the Death Note Netflix, go watch those or don't listen or whatever, right? Yeah. So
there's a full. Well, I mean, I guess you can't really spoil Death Note with this piece of shit.
But we're probably going to be comparing it to the anime as well.
It's true.
So right off the bat, I want to say some good things about it. I want to get the positive things out of the way.
I'm very curious to find out how you're going to do this.
There's always light in any tunnel.
Oh, well done.
Some of the cinematography.
I'm going to say you want some light in your tunnel.
Hell yeah, I do. First off, I think some of the cinematography was really good. I think that director has an eye for shots. Yeah, totally.
I thought, what part? Give me an example.
Any of the Ferris wheel I thought was really good.
No.
None of the shots of Ryuk in the background when he's low depth of field.
No.
I
thought it all looked very TV movie crappy.
No, you texted me that. I disagree with you. I think I like some of the visuals in this movie. I liked parts of the portrayal of L.
Sort of.
Yeah, everything until near the end. And technically I like Ryuk. Not really. He's not the character I remember.
I don't like the character. I liked how he looked.
So I really tried to watch this as It's hard to do. It's almost impossible. But I tried to watch it. We're both big fans of the anime.
I'm a manga.
But I really tried to, like, as I was watching it, think about it as someone who'd never seen Death Note 2 and say, like, is this good on its own? Not knowing the source material, not knowing anything. I'm not even sure I would think it's a cool concept. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even sure I'd think that's a good idea. Whereas, like, I love the other one so much, I'm like, oh, this idea would be cool even if it was executed poorly. It's like, no, maybe not.
No.
But I think this movie's a fucking mess character-wise, script-wise, and it's missing everything that Death Note, the anime, it made it so good.
It was missing the intrinsic point as to why it made it good, because really thinking about the premise of Death Note, like, a kid finds a book that was given to him by a death god that's the tool for killing people, right?
Yes.
That's the premise at the end of the day. Not a shit ton to go off with that, but that's anime context, right? And that's one of the problems. It's like anime stories, when it comes down to their base premise, is actually really basic. It's always very heavily character driven. And the key component to Death Note being amazing was that, like, L was this, like, borderline to full sociopath who was, like, extremely intelligent and somewhat kind of endearing, and his goals were almost admirable. And it was in his meticulous and extraordinary it's like watching fucking Sherlock, right? Like,
yeah, Sherlock and Moriarty.
Their machinations and, like, how far ahead they were thinking at the end. You're like, how did they think of this stuff and how did they get there? And you're totally awash in their intelligence. L's that.
Yeah.
The fucking moment this movie starts, that kid ends up as a retard. The only smart thing he was doing to demonstrate his intelligence was he was charging people to do their homework.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, so, that's his intelligence? Like, no.
I almost feel like the stuff they kept from the anime was, like, all bad decisions because L, like, says something to his dad at some point about, like, oh, he's a smart kid, like, he's a really smart kid, and it's like he has not demonstrated that once on the screen.
Everything he does is dumb.
Everything.
Like, he's not even just an average Joe. He does dumb shit.
Yeah, he just does. Yeah, exactly. Like, he brought the Death Note to school, sat in the bleachers, and a girl comes up to him, and she's like, "Hey, that fucking bully died. Like, whatever, he deserved it." And then he's like, I need to murder someone in front of you. Yeah. You of all people would like this. And, like...
And even then looking at Death Note and going, like, this is a gate to pussy. Like,
yeah,
like, what the fuck?
So I even this concept in and of itself, it doesn't have to be, like, I think it's bad. I think it's totally bad, don't get me wrong. But the concept of, like, a teenager being excited... Like, even Spider-Man revealing his identity to Gwen in the movies. Spoiler. In the Amazing Spider-Man movies, right? I always kind of got that. I'm like, you're a teenager, you have superpowers. Like, you would probably do that to the girl you like.
Yeah.
This is a little fast. It's so rushed that I never believed their romance, quote-unquote, for any of the movie.
No. Or any sort of backleading to her being as psychopathic as he is.
No, exactly,
like, her only, his only clue that she would be as psychopathic is that, like, he deserved it. That doesn't say she's going to sit back and go, of course we should murder society.
Yeah.
You're like, what a lucky guess.
Yes. Yeah.
You know? Like, what the fuck?
So, yeah, their romance is one of the biggest things I have, and it's the entire movie, so you're going to have an issue with it. Like, did not buy them falling in love, being interested in each other, none of that stuff. It was so fast. And they made this whole, and again, I don't think this concept is necessarily bad if you were trying to tell a story with the Death Note. The whole, like, Bonnie and Clyde angle of, like, a couple taking control of Death Note and then there becoming a power struggle. If you told me that, like, there was a manga sequel, like, with that kind of concept, I'd be like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. But, like, completely squandered here.
Yeah.
Totally shit.
Totally shit.
The whole cat and mouse game with L and Light is missing.
Yeah.
There's no...
Why was L even in this? It should have been just between the girl and Light, right? And that would have been a fine story. But then, like, L was interjected as well as, like, a third party, like, to throw a wrench in the shit. But that was the whole point of the original fucking book, was that you had these two giants going after each other.
Yep. And
watching their battle, and Ryuk was just so excited to watch them go at it.
And
that's why humans are excited.
And Rick's so much different in this one. He's not as, like, Rick in the anime is, like, charming and, like...
he doesn't have a goal. He's just like, I threw this here to watch the chaos because I'm bored.
Yeah, he's not on anyone's side, technically, or anything. Yeah. But, like, and this one isn't either, but he seems a lot more, like, malicious. Like,
I hated that opening scene when Ryuk shows up, and I'm like, okay, here's Ryuk, here we go, right? And then Light is a fucking whiny pussy the whole time. What?
How funny was his screams when he went? I laughed so hard.
They were so fake.
They were, yes.
They were so fake. Everything about, I really dislike the main actor. he was so fake in every one of his acting, and he could not try and maintain puppy doe eyes more often than he did in that movie.
I don't think he's a great actor. I don't think he brought anything to that role.
No, he didn't bring anything. So, like, anyways, that whole part was dumb. And then when Ryuk showed up, Ryuk was sitting there, like, egging him on. Like, you know, like, I'm a guy who likes death. I cause death. I want you to go kill. I was like, you're like fucking it.
Yeah, he was, like, pressuring him into, like, writing the bully's name down. And, like,
and he's like, oh, I don't want to, and stuff. And I'm like, no. One of the best scenes in the whole fucking show is the first episode where Ryuk pops up, and Light's just like, yo, like, whatever. Like, I got a plan for this shit, and I've written this all down, and I've made this intricate trap to protect my book. In, like, one episode, I'm that hot of a shit. Yeah. And instead in this, I'm like, this is a little pussy child, like, loser in the background who I don't care about is getting the book. Why would you pick this little asshole? Like, you could have picked anyone else. Yeah,
it was just all so fucking bad. Like I said, the cat and the mouse game, which is like a large majority of like what makes Death Note so good, watching these two, like you said, giants battle each other with intelligence, like none of that was there at all.
Or the endless resources to L, like the power of the Death Note against endless resources, right? And like L didn't really demonstrate having any endless resources. And while he was supposed to be socially awkward and a pariah, like you said, the worst part about L is that suddenly he became like
he went postal after Watari died.
Yeah, and he's all like, and suddenly he's like he's all super strong and shit or something. Like he's knocking down doors on his own and like fucking shooting shit and stuff. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, it was incredibly disappointing for like one of the only redeeming qualities of that movie.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Is like the character. It was initially portrayed as this meek, weak character, which is what L comes across. Now I know in the manga as well, he's not weak. Like he's not in any fashion, but he's portraying that. He's
meek. He's like a little more subdued.
Like, yeah. But it was even in his interactions when he became friends with Light in the manga and in the anime. Like when they were friends and stuff, he was always a little weird and stuff, and Light was always like, "You're a weird dude, ha ha ha." And you know, like when he talked to the girls and stuff, he would shy away, and it was part of his adorable nature of his character, and it defined that character as a whole. But then this one was just like, yeah, that's me as a whole, and that's my character. But I also have this other one.
I'm also
like,
insane.
Yeah,
I'm also fucking insane.
Yeah.
And I get it, like the guy who raised him died or whatever, but it was just so like weird. And like I kind of, again, one of the concepts I kind of liked, I thought maybe where they were going with it was when L was like, he was proven wrong. Mm. I thought like when he was like kind of insane after, and he was going after the Death Note at the very end there or whatever. Mm. I was like, are they like if this gets a sequel, which I don't think it will. No. I was like, if it does and they're trying to do that, I was like, does L become like mellow? You know what I mean? Because he's kind of like more like edgier and like dark, and he's going to be doing this investigation but from the underground now because like he has no resources anymore because no one fucking trusts him or something. Like I was like, is that what they're trying to do? Like I don't know. But it was just a mess.
It was just a mess from beginning to end.
The script was a mess. The dialogue was a mess.
What was the fucking scene in the very beginning when L first gets introduced and they're in the fucking limo?
Oh, they put the glasses on?
And what were those glasses? Why did he need to wear them? Why was he worrying about a 1 hour sugar rush and counting? Like, I didn't understand any of that. And then
it was all very odd
to him?
I think the purpose of that scene was just to show that Watari is like his caretaker, keeps him in check,
but
and
doing
like, reminds him to sleep.
What? I've never heard of those glasses. If they're a thing and I'm just too old to know and I'm only fucking 31.
No, I have no idea what those were.
Yeah.
I think all it was is like, this is his caretaker kind of thing, and this is like, he's the one who like keeps him grounded.
Okay, but give him a fucking sleeping mask. Why does he have sci-fi laser goggles that make him sleep? Why does eating some sugar give him a 1 hour rush? Like, are you monitoring his like diabetes?
Yeah, no. No, then he's in a sugar crash. I think it was. Again,
that
moment, I think it was just to
that moment defined the rest of the movie, because like there were so many more moments like that where you're just like, why did you do any of this?
I didn't like Light's dad, which is such a stark turn from the anime where like I love Light's dad.
Yeah, and he was a very important character, and then like instead this is just like a douchebag.
Couldn't even give him a mustache. Come on.
Yeah. No, it was pretty atrocious from beginning.
There are a couple scenes too that just like came off weird. Like I didn't even think made sense inside. Like Elle just walked inside Light's house at some point, like the chief's house, and he's like, "Okay, you guys need to leave." And I was like, "Where? This didn't flow correctly from the last scene to this one. Like I don't know what the fuck's happening here." The scene with them confronting each other at the diner like was very like. Also, he was like, "I'm convinced you're Kira," and I was like, "Oh," and the way they came with Kira was also fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, it was just bad. It was just bad. Like I almost
felt like an intentional shit on the manga and anime. Like this guy got this and was like, I don't want this job, and I fucking hate anime. Fuck all you anime fans. I'm gonna make sure that like, because it felt maliciously like intentional to shit on the original content.
I think it was just a bad stab at his own spin on this content. I have no idea if he's a fan of it or not, but like, it just did not work.
Yeah, but if you spin something, you take the heart of it with you, no matter.
I would have spun it like if you're gonna spin it, I think don't keep the names, don't keep. I mean, except maybe Ryuk if you want, because he can be the connecting tissue or whatever. Yeah. Just tell an entirely different story.
Of a different.
Don't do this very loose adaptation with all the stuff changed.
Which would make it even a cool universe. If they did it as suddenly like Ryuk was just dropping the book off to a bunch of people, which could be something plausible within the Death Note universe as it exists.
Yeah.
Right. Have a bunch of different directors take on hour and 20-minute movies.
It's like 30 years in the future, and like a Death Note's dropped again.
Yeah.
Everyone knows who Kira was, but like that's over now, and like it's been peace for 30 years, and then Ryuk's like, I'm back. Like, tosses the book down to some other one.
Yeah, or whatever, even if it's just a couple of years, right? And then maybe the next one they pass it off to just has an entirely different story where they're not doing like global genocide, and instead they're just doing something local. And,
like whatever. Like,
and then every director would get a new movie.
You can make a good high school movie with the dude killing off people, and he gets too far with it or something. Like,
and like make it a
totally
small teen drama. And each one could be a different genre of movie. One could be like a teen drama. One could be like a full murder mystery, and like all this kind of shit. You could hand Death Notes off to different people. Like,
how good would it be if there was this movie like that fucking movie coming up, The Snowman?
Yeah,
and it's like at the very end of that movie, the reveal is he's like Death Note though. That would be fucking brilliant. I would love that. All the audience is like, what?
Yeah, like you haven't seen his face at all, and then they let that slow creep in behind him in like his workshop where he works or something like that, right? And then suddenly the opera music kicks in, and it zooms in on a book, and then like the page is flipping through, and he whips out a pen.
Yes.
And scribbles.
90% of the audience left confused. What? Yeah, it was just a fucking waste of time and resources.
Yes.
Yeah, fuck. And I think this project from the start should have been a TV series. I think you need a TV series to retell that story well.
That's the last point I wanted to make. Yeah, was just that. Like, if you're going to be doing anime and manga and stuff, like everyone's like, oh, they're not doing it right. They're not doing it right. But they keep taking, like, turn Akira into a human movie that works. But take Death Note, a fucking, what is it? Like,
38 episodes or something.
No, but it's all together with the manga is something like 36 full mangas with probably like 568 chapters, right? It's huge. It's this massive like line of books or something like that, right? Or take Ghost in the Shell, which has 7 series, all of them, some of them ranging from 32 episodes to like, whatever. So you're looking at maybe like 80 episodes to 100 episodes of shit, plus like 3 movies.
Yeah.
And trying to convert that into one film. Like, don't bother.
Yeah.
You're not going to launch a franchise with this shit yet. You're just not. So make those into TV series. Netflix could have made that into an awesome TV series. You've done it with the Defenders and the fucking Marvel shit. And then only thing you can turn it from manga or anime into human movie North American are the full-length movie hits. Do Akira. Do fucking, I don't know, any of them.
Howl's Moving Castle.
Yeah, why not?
Do it. So it was, very disappointing. I expect more out of that director. I really like the stuff he's done, so really hoping his next flick turns out better. Kong versus Godzilla. As long as he can...
what is that called? The irony of that statement?
Why?
Because I really hope he does better with Kong versus Godzilla.
I like Kong a lot.
It's got this high bar to reach.
As long as he can make a monkey punch a lizard pretty well, I'm down. But yeah, I just thought, this was just a total waste of time.
I finally saw Kong Skull Island.
Oh, what'd you think?
It was actually really good.
Yeah, really enjoyed it.
Really enjoying. Just generally enjoyable throughout the whole thing.
Shit just keeps happening in that movie. Yeah. It's like, Kong's eating a squid now.
But the monster stuff is way better.
Oh, it's a giant stick bug.
Yeah.
And it's fucking up people. Oh, it's a water buffalo. Like, it's just constant, like,
the monster stuff
this is so cool.
The side monster stuff was cool. Like, that fucking bamboo spider.
Yeah.
That was fucking great.
Loved it.
Yeah, like when it stabbed him right through the throat, like, and stuff. Like,
what did you think of the moment? Sorry, Kong Skull Island spoilers.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the moment near the end when the dude's like trying to make this like noble sacrifice and he's like,
oh yeah,
he's like, come and get me. The lizard just whips him into the fucking cliff and like explodes. People laughed at that, and so did I. And I was like, whew.
I was curious about whether or not I was supposed to be feeling that was a funny moment, like, haha, you didn't get to pull off.
I was unsure as well. I read a whole like article about like the nature of Kong Skull Island, and it's about nihilism and like the feudalness of like man against nature and stuff. So like it is supposed to be played like almost for laughs there, and I was like, oh okay, it is intended as that. Like that's fine. But yeah, I wasn't sure if he was trying to make an emotional moment at the time. I wasn't sure how to read it because like there is this very much like this like Vietnam War like you know vibe to that movie where you're like, this is almost serious, but then you got these over the top characters in John Goodman and Samuel L. Jackson, and they're like, okay, you guys are like not the vibe that I'm thinking this might be going for.
This is the most I've liked Samuel L. Jackson in a film in a long time, though. Like, I love Samuel L. Jackson. Who doesn't fucking think he's
I was going to say, is he your second most hated actor?
No, he's, like, one of the coolest men on earth. Like, I would love to spend an evening with, like, having, like a fucking whiskey with Samuel L. Jackson. It'd be, like, the coolest night of my life. There's nothing wrong with him. He's an amazing man. But I've just been feeling like he's been underutilized in a lot of the stuff. Like, the only thing I've been really enjoying him at is Nick Fury, and even then it's, like, 10 minutes of a Marvel film.
Yeah. Roughly.
But this was, again, I liked it. Like, Samuel L. Jackson was a badass motherfucker, but like they weren't like trying to pull the snakes on the plane shit.
I'm gonna hunt this monkey.
Yeah. But that's the thing. He was a badass motherfucker, and he wasn't like, they weren't going to snakes on the plane comedy with him. Like, going like, this is just a wacky character.
Yeah. It had a good amount of like camp to it, so I really enjoyed it.
It was enjoyable.
That's what we'll end today's segment. If you want to follow me, I'm on Twitter at TheEcology. Mike is at Mike Kent Draws, and Pens and Pixels is PNP_podcast.
Yes, and you can give us a like, share, and subscribe on YouTube, on SoundCloud, and iTunes. Give us a rating there. Give us a like and subscribe on SoundCloud. Give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. And be sure to drop us a comment. Let us know what you think about anything we've talked about this week. Give us your point of views. We always like to hear from you guys, so anytime, give us a line.
Hit me up on Twitter. Yeah. Tell me if you'd hire a cat.
Punch a donkey.
or donkey punch.
or donkey punch. Would you donkey punch?
Hashtag would you donkey punch. Keep on popping, Pop Nation. We'll see you next week.